Lafarge Africa Plc, as part of its commitment to driving innovation and sustainable growth, hosted the 5th edition of its Concrete Ideas, which discussed the theme Building Up Safely Government-Industry Collaborations. In his opening remarks, the CEO of Lafarge Africa, Mr. Khaled El-Dokani, described the forum as an opportunity to examine the development of high-rising buildings as a solution to housing deficits and rapid urbanization challenges in cities like Lagos.
Government-industry collaboration explores how high-rise buildings could be a solution to the challenges around the scarcity and high cost of accommodation in urban centers in Nigeria. This, we believe, could be a spur of investment in the construction and real estate in the country. These public-private dialogues have, of course, been on for the past 2 years and have demonstrably been effective in bringing about sustainable and positive change in the sector. We have discussed public-private partnerships and rapidly upscaling Nigeria's economic infrastructure, the root cause of building collapse, new solutions to Nigeria urban housing and public-private partnerships in urban regeneration, and highlighted very rich recommendations and resolutions from these discussions.
The Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, lauded Lafarge Africa for its contribution to the Nigerian economy.
I think it's important that we commend Lafarge for this platform that they've created. And I think the quality product that the group also has been building over the time has translated into a significant growth of the construction and housing space. It has increased, of course, economic activities and development, and of course led to growth of our national GDP. Most importantly, it has led to creation of jobs for some of our youths. In Lagos State, we are also embarking on building a greater and stronger Lagos. And the strong buildings that are being built with Lafarge cement, of course, must contribute to the beauty and the aesthetic of our states and our collective desire to keep up building a greater Lagos. When companies continue to find means of getting better, engaging stakeholders in the build industry, what you have is not limiting yourself to what you have done, but expanding the horizon and seeing how you can get better. So the Lafarge Africa Concrete Ideas, as for the past 5 years, remain a relevant and vibrant platform for deliberation on issues, policies, and development shaping the Nigerian's construction and housing space. I'm particularly pleased with this year's theme, Building Up Safely, Government-Industry Collaborations, because it is very opposite and it is very close to home for us in Lagos and, of course, in Nigeria. We are all working assiduously and determined to sustainably address the issue of this avoidable building collapse so that we can safeguard lives of our people and prevent economic and financial loss.
The Deputy Governor provided further insights into how the state plans to scale the adoption of high-rising buildings.
With the continuous increase in the population of Lagos leading to an ever-increasing surge in rural-urban drift, land scarcity, and the consequent high cost of available land can only be expected to increase. Bearing in mind that the development of tall buildings is the current trend in modern cities all over the world, what do you think should be done to create greater awareness and encourage industry stakeholders to take advantage of these opportunities?
Well, I think for us in Lagos, I'm sure a lot of developers are already engaging in that, really. So the biggest challenge is, again, when we talk about restructuring our country, that's what we mean. So I will give you a very small example. So there is this agency that is called UBEC. So UBEC is an agency of the federal government that assists states with primary education. And so they also assist government to say, oh, for 2021 as an example, we will contribute X amount of naira so that you can do various things in your primary school. But the state must also put in a counterpart fund of the same amount. But the challenge is this. They will now say, oh, everybody must build a two classroom on the floor. We said this is Lagos. Niger State is 7.8% of the landmass of Nigeria. We are 0.34. So giving us the same template as Niger is ridiculous. So we've been fighting this for years. But fortunately, they've agreed with us, and that's why our schools will go up. But in other parts of the country, you see that they are all flat because everybody accepts that. So those are the challenges that we in Lagos have seen over time about restructuring this country to say, let us as a people do what is appropriate for each state. What is good for Lagos might not be good for Niger. What is good for Niger and so on. So that's a diversion. But basically, we've been going up over time. Like you said, when we started the homes design, for example, that's why we went up. Again, but we also understand that maintenance is key because for each building, you have a facility manager or for each estate. And you don't want to burden them too much. So that's why we said, okay, because of let's get to 4 floors. So because anything above 5, you need an elevator. So let's build so that we don't allow people to spend too much money on maintenance and so on. But for the developers, you can see all over the state, everybody is going up. They know that the best thing to do is to go up because land is, like you said, is expensive. But it's expensive only in the parts that you are interested in. If you want to go to my part of Lagos, like Igodo, we are fine.
If you decide to give us land there, we will still take it, sir.
If you come out, let's go to Igodo, let's go to Ego, let's go to, we are fine. But all of you on this side, well, it's okay.
All right, so let's talk about another challenge. Now, the increasing population of Lagos underscores the need for increased investment in infrastructure development to build a strong economic baseline with the status of Lagos as Africa's fastest growing megacity. Despite the shortfall in revenue and receipts from the Federation account, how has your government been able to maintain the flow of investment into these critical sectors of the economy?
Well, I think we must give it to the governor of the state. I mean, so people say that our blue line takes time. That's the line that goes from Marina to Kokomaiko. It started during the government of Babatunde Fashola. And we know that it's expensive. The water crossing from Orile to Marina is about 13 or so kilometers. The pile there is about 130 meters. Now, this building is, in general, how tall is this? Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 9? Maybe 9 meters. So the pile is 113 meters down. So you can imagine. And there is hundreds of them. So and you don't see it. So it's just down. So it's the engineers that will see it. So it costs a lot of money. Because these are infrastructure that must last 300-400 years or whatever it is. But we know that for Lagos, we are the only mega city in the world that doesn't have rain. And we are also the only mega city or the only city in the world that is funding rail on our own balance sheet. Every other city in the world has federal government funding, municipal funding, and of course the city funding. So we are the only, so when people say, oh, it's taking forever, well, it will take forever because it's only the state of Lagos that is funding it. In other jurisdictions, London Rail, Cairo Rail, it's federal government. So the people talk about Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa Rail was 100% federal government, not state. So we are the only state in the world that is funding that on our balance sheet. So how are we surviving? We are trying to use all sorts of creative funding, like the red line, for example. We've almost built, I think we have about 17 stations. Federal government will build about 7 because we are using the same line that goes to Ibadan. So, but you know, going to Ibadan will take maybe 4 hours before it comes back. But our interrail, you can do almost 10 rounds before they come back. So it's an alignment that and we are building, if you go to Marina now, we are almost completed with the station. It's about 300 meters in terms of length. And you can see Ikeja, it's almost done. You can see Mushi all over the place. So one of the things we did was we have to borrow because money is fungible. And what you can buy today, interestingly, let me say this. If we did not do those stations then, the cost of about 105 billion, today you can't build it for 300 billion. Today you cannot. We can't even go near it. Because as you know, diesel then was whatever it is, it's 800 naira now. Steel then was whatever it is, cement and so on. So Lafarge cement is not what it was 2 years ago. So the reality is, because we know money is fungible, we must then say, let's go and get that resources so that we can build. It's called constructive debt. So when people say that, oh, the borrowing, well, what are you doing with it? We are building infrastructure that our grandchildren can use, so that the only way to move Lagos is we must develop our rail system. It's the only way. We cannot build. Sarah Mede here is building all the roads. Fantastic, well done. I clap for her. But the reality is we must also develop the rail and the water transportation, which we are doing. So it's creative funding that we are seeking to make sure that we build our rail, we build the road. So Okwebi, Sheraton, normally now you turn around to go to Okwebi. So that bridge will take you all the way down. So you don't have to go around again. So JB is doing it. They are doing the piling now. It's a lot of money because this is Lagos. So, but we must find those resources because it's the only way we can expand our state. It's the only way we can build the necessary infrastructure. So we are trying to be audacious to build all these things. But that's why we must find means of getting the money somehow. And then we are finding it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And the money must indeed come out, because we recognize that 80% of the global GDP is made, from the cities, and making these cities more livable is a very key factor in ensuring that we make lives better, not just for the citizens, but for the economy at large. So thank you very much, Mr. Governor, for joining us.
The event featured a panel section which discussed the rudiments of achieving the development of high-rising buildings that is safe and sustainable in Lagos and other cities. Mr. Khaled El-Dokani, the CEO of Lafarge Africa and Ogun State Commissioner of Works and Infrastructure, on the key takeaways from the forum and the importance of public-private partnership for sustainable cities.
Well, I think this is number one priority. I mean, building in general has to be very safe, whether it's on a low rise or a high rise, because it's all about the life of the people, the inhabitants, and the workers and the contractors during the construction period. So safety is number one factor. And the discussion here that there is no contradiction between safety, environment, sustainability, and everything really that helps the planet, helps the people, can all come in one pot. And there is no contradiction between being more safe. It doesn't mean that you need to be more costly or less environmental friendly, or you lose the vision on CO2 emission or lose the vision on sustainability. I think everything can come together as long as we have seen today, we have seen panelists from different angles, from different perspectives, experiences, and all of them, they are talking the same language, which is a very good sign.
And the Lagos state government said one area it would like support from the private sector is in the provision of those affordable homes, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom for middle class. What are you going to do with your other colleagues in the private sector to help galvanize this in Lagos?
Well, Lafarge Africa, as a member of Wholesome, we've been working on this for years. Actually, it's now what we are trying to do through the concrete ideas is building the bridges between a product which is already available or can be available on the short term and the construction codes and the legislation of the country that can allow the usage of these materials. And I think we are really progressing very well. Now we are making our products more known and more visible to different stakeholders. Working on the legislations with the ministers. We're working on the federal level as well as the state level to get our products registered and to be able to be used in the construction sector.
And finally, what's the interesting part of these concrete ideas since it started till today? What interests you most about this?
It's the gathering, really. It's bringing all of these brains and expertise together in one room. It's a very good signal for how Lafarge Africa PLC is perceived from everybody. People are here because they respect the company. They believe and trust that we are not only cement manufacturers, but a real player in the development of the community and the nation. We are partners in the development. So this trustworthy relation is really stands above all in such type of events.
Fit concrete ideas, building up safely, industry and government collaboration. How does that key also to Ogun State, which is described as Nigeria's industrial hub, where you have so many activities of private sector and there's need to collaborate with them as a government to address issues like housing infrastructure, amongst others?
Okay, thank you for this opportunity and for Lafarge for putting up this program. Well, this is not only Ogun State issue; it's a worldwide. So and also Lagos and other states in the area. Housing we have a major deficit in housing, but Ogun State is doing a lot of things. His Excellency Governor Dapo Abiodun MFR is doing a lot of things to address the challenges. Like today, they put up a series of ideas between the government and the private industry, what we need to do to achieve that dream. So we're already working on those kind of initiative already. The state is providing land, providing infrastructures, because for you to be able to access where the buildings are, we have to build road. There's a massive infrastructure development going on in Ogun State right now. So Ogun State is ready to welcome different partners. We collaborate with them, provide whatever is needed to make this a reality. We need to build houses for people to be able to live in. So Ogun State is going to grow. It's the only neighbor to Lagos State. So sooner or later, everybody will be moving to Ogun State for housing.
As Nigeria grapples with a housing deficit in the range of over 70 million, the Lafarge Africa 5th edition of the Concrete Ideas has brought to the fore the need to explore innovative solutions like high-rise buildings in cities like Lagos, while reinforcing the codes, regulations, and practices that will avert the incidence of collapsed building in the country.